Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending tonight's virtual public meeting. We're just going to give everyone a few more minutes to join, and then we'll get started with our presentation. In the event that you're having any form of technical difficulties, either at the beginning or during our broadcast today, we ask that you contact Miranda Brito at 786-537-3363, or you may email her at miranda@iscprgroup.com, and she'll be happy to assist you. Thank you. Good evening once again, everyone. My name is Paulette Summers, and I am the Community Outreach Specialist that's assigned to the Roadway Improvement Project along State Road 5, Overseas Highway northbound from mile marker 97.0 to mile marker 99.5, as well as northbound and southbound from mile marker 99.6 to mile marker 100.0. At this time, we'd just like to acknowledge any elected or appointed officials that may be joining us today. We just ask that you use the raise hand button that's on the upper right-hand corner in the panel on your screen, and we would be happy to acknowledge you. Any elected or appointed officials with us or their representatives that would like to be acknowledged? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone at this time. Oh, I do see Commissioner Forster. Yes, thank you. I do see Commissioner Forster. Thank you so much, Commissioner. I do appreciate you coming tonight and participating in our meeting. Are there any other elected or appointed officials? Not at this time. Okay, well, thank you so much, Commissioner Forster, again, and welcome. Here is tonight's virtual public meeting agenda. First, we'll be going over our rules of engagement. We will meet the project team. We'll go over our non-discrimination policy. We'll also talk about the project location, schedule, and cost, as well as go over the scope of work as anticipated. We will go over what's expected on the project, and we'll also address our maintenance of traffic plan, followed by a question and answer period. Before we get started with our presentation tonight, I'd like to share a few items regarding the virtual meeting format. So this on your computer or device screen, you may see in the upper right-hand corner something that looks like this. It is the control panel that's on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. To listen to the meeting, your computer or device speakers are selected by default. If you prefer to listen by phone, however, a telephone in the audio pane of the control panel may be selected, and you may dial in using the information that is displayed. Attendees will remain muted and will be in listen-only mode throughout tonight's meeting session. You can use your raise hand button. Again, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll find that button on the GoToWebinar panel to provide a comment. Provide your full name first, your address, followed by your comment. Attendees are welcome to submit questions or comments using the GoToWebinar question panel, and a member of our team will respond during the open discussion period. Participants will have roughly 3 minutes to answer questions or provide any comments. Again, this meeting is being recorded. We will have, as I mentioned, begin with a presentation followed by comments and questions. If you are, however, calling by phone, you will not be able to provide your comments during the meeting directly, but you may provide comments by calling 786-537-3363, or you may email miranda@iscprgroup.com. Tonight's presentation is also available at the project link that's below on your screen, and our project team will remain until 7 p.m. to address any questions or concerns that you may have. So speaking of our project team, I'm going to ask our team members to go ahead and turn their cameras on at this time so that we may introduce them. Team? Thank you so much. So first of all, we have Kira Leon, who is our FDOT project manager. Kira.
Good evening. Thank you for attending tonight.
Thank you, Kira. Next, we have our consultant project manager, Shelly Ortiz. Shelly.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you, Shelly. Followed by our consultant roadway engineer, Sudhir Mapala. Sudhir.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Sudhir. And then finally, we have our consultant project engineer, Tejaj Rana.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome.
Thank you, Ted Singh. Or non-discrimination policy, the Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation at this virtual public meeting is solicited without race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting our District 6 Title VI Coordinator, Nicholas Danu, at 305-470-5219, or in writing at the FDOT office, 1000 Northwest 111 Avenue, Miami, Florida 33172. In addition, you may also contact our state Title VI coordinator, Ms. Jacqueline Paramore. She can be reached at 850-414-4753 or in writing to the Equal Opportunity Office at 605 Swanee Street, MS65, Tallahassee, Florida 32399. And with that being said, I am going to turn the presentation over to our consultant design project manager, Ms. Shelley Ortiz. Shelley?
Thank you, Paulette. So this slide shows our project location. Our project begins at mile marker 97 to mile marker 99.5 in the northbound direction, and then picks up again north of the intersection of Atlantic Boulevard at mile marker 99.6 up to mile marker 100 northbound and southbound direction. The purpose and need of the project: the department has a duty to prolong the lifespan of the existing road and keep it safe for the public. For this reason, the department is performing a resurfacing, restoration, and rehabilitation, which is a 3R project, along the corridor. The municipalities in the area are unincorporated Monroe County and Key Largo. This slide shows our project schedule and cost. The project has a anticipated production date of November 2021 with a letting date of December 2022. Our construction start date is anticipated for June 2023 with an approximate construction duration of 12 months. The construction end should be around the summer of 2024, and the total construction cost is anticipated at $4.5 million. This project is currently in the 60% design phase. We're working now towards the 90% design phase, and we are working with municipalities to review our plans and receive feedback from the public. We will hopefully transition this project successfully to the project team after all the coordination has happened. Now, to go over our project scope, we will be repaving and restriping the roadway and the shoulders from mile marker 97 to mile marker 99.5 northbound, and from mile marker 99.6 to mile marker 100 southbound. We will be paving the northbound outside shoulder to a width of 5 feet from mile marker 97 to mile marker 99.5, and this is to meet minimum shoulder requirements and to be able to allow bicyclists on the shoulder. We will be reconstructing the pavement at the intersection corners where it's been damaged, upgrading guardrail. We'll be modifying some driveways, especially the very wide commercial driveways that are going to be narrowed to provide better delineation for users of the shared use path and the sidewalk. Pedestrians and bicyclists on the shared use path will have less conflicts, and driveways will be better delineated. We will be improving the sidewalk and the Florida Keys Overseas Heritage Trail. We'll be providing some green pavement markings at the driveway crossings to eliminate or to delineate conflicts. Upgrading roadway signage and pavement markings, improving the drainage especially at miscellaneous locations where there's flooding. We'll be adding new landscaping on the median from mile marker 99.6 to mile marker 100, and these improvements are tied to a safety report and safety improvements that are needed to eliminate jaywalking for people crossing the roadway at undesignated locations and allowing people to find better the mid-block crossing that exists at that location. Next slide. This shows the typical section of the proposed work. The typical section on the top is the northbound direction from mile marker 97 to mile marker 99.5, and it shows the milling and resurfacing of the both northbound lanes, as well as the widening up to 5 feet of the paved shoulder. The typical section on the bottom shows the milling and resurfacing of the southbound direction only, from mile marker 99.6 to 100. Now, what to expect during construction? We will have temporary lane closures, temporary closures of side streets and driveways. However, the contractor will ensure that each resident's business has a safe, stable, and reasonable access at all times. We will have narrow travel lanes, which may provide limited space for trucks and other oversized vehicles during construction and some vehicular detours. Next slide. This is a typical section. It shows what we want to show here is we will maintain always one lane open, and we will always work only one side at a time. Next slide. Our project phasing and hours of operation. We will have temporary lane closures that will be limited only for Monday through Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Like I said, we will maintain at least one travel lane open during construction. No construction activities will be permitted during nighttime except for work near a signalized intersection, the repaving and restriping operations. All mill surfaces will be paved prior to opening to traffic. We will maintain the existing speed limit of 45 miles per hour. We will have a traffic control officer when performing work near the signalized intersection. The pedestrians on the shared use path trail and the sidewalk closures and detours during the repairs or replacement will be clearly delineated, and there will be no work allowed during special events. There will be some dust. The contractor will be required to water and sweep in order to minimize construction-related dust. There will be some noise. Some noise should be expected during construction. Access to the area and property businesses will be maintained during construction.
Thank you so much, Shelley.
Thank you.
At this time, we've reached our question and answer portion of the presentation tonight. We ask that you submit your comments in the question box. After addressing comments in the question box, we will open the microphones. If we're unable to answer your question, the project team will provide a written response after tonight's meeting. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand by pressing the raise your hand button. Participants will have 3 minutes to provide comments and questions, and then allow others in which to speak. Staff will be available to answer questions in the order that they were received and as time permits. If your question is not responded to during the event, a response will be provided in writing following tonight's meeting. At this time, I'd like to ask if any elected officials that have joined, since we acknowledged Commissioner Forrester, or if Commissioner Forrester himself would like to make a comment at this time, please go ahead and hit the raise your hand button, and I would be happy to acknowledge you at this time. Commissioner Forrester, would you like to say something? So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Hi, Pauline. Thank you so much for letting me speak just for a moment.
Yes.
Thank you and your team for having this webinar. I'm going to hold back on questions to see what the constituents have to ask you. The one question that I have is if you and your project team could please show an example of what landscaping is in the project that you're speaking of.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you so very much. Really do appreciate that. I see that we have a team. I'm just going to have you come back on if you don't mind turning your cameras back on. We have another question from a Mr. Nicholas Rodriguez. So thank you so much, team. Let's try and see if, Shelley, would you mind addressing Commissioner Forrester's comment first or question first?
Yes, can you repeat the question regarding, I know it was regarding landscaping improvements, were you wanting to know in detail what landscaping improvements are being performed, or?
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes, ma'am. I was just wondering, in your scope of your project, do you have any examples of the landscaping that you're talking about?
It's okay, so the landscaping is supposed to be dense landscaping in the form of low hedges, and the purpose, it's on the median. Like I explained, it's due to a recommendation by our traffic operations office as a result of a safety study, and it's just trying to prevent people from crossing the median at the location between Atlantic Boulevard and mile marker 100. So those installations will be placed right in the middle of the median, and we have plans that we can provide to you to review. And like I said, the purpose is in the form of low hedges that will not obstruct sight distance, but will serve the purpose of preventing pedestrians from crossing at undesignated locations.
That's a perfect answer, and yes, much rather see vegetation instead of aluminum or steel or cables. So thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Shelley. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to unmute Mr. Nicholas Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you all for being here and taking the time. My only concern would be to carry on to that hedge question is how high are they going to be? And are you guys going to take into account signage of businesses along US 1? My concern is some trees were put in the last couple of years, and as they grow, they're going to be covering up business signs. And then I'm just wondering if you guys are going to get feedback on that, if you're taking that into consideration.
So the location of the proposed landscaping is not on the side of where the driveways to the businesses are, which would be where the signs would be located. The location of the hedges would be in the median between the northbound and the southbound side of the roadway.
Okay, thank you very much.
It should be of low height.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Shelley. I appreciate that. Commissioner Forrester, did you have another comment? Your hand is still up. Did you have another? Okay, I see. And Mr. Rodriguez, do you have an additional comment or question?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we have a question from Ms. Rhonda Whitfield. Ms. Whitfield, I'm going to unmute you. So you may be self-muted. Let's see.
There we go.
Okay, you may go ahead. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Whitfield.
If I had missed the time frame for this, the start and the finish, and when it'll start and how long until you anticipate finish the entire project.
So yeah, you can go back to the slide, Paulette. As you can see here, the project for now is anticipated to start in June 2023 with a construction duration of 12 months.
Thank you so much. I did miss that. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're most welcome. Do we have any other questions or comments at this time? Again, feel free to, okay, I see we have a question from a Miss Charlene Strong, okay. Miss Strong, please go ahead.
I live in the area. Can you hear me?
Yes, we most certainly can. Go right ahead.
I live in the area where the pavement is going to be extended. And I have two lots, one which I'm living on, and the one next door to me that I own is wooded. And it has a guardrail right now that goes the whole length of the property. And I'm not sure why they would block the entire length of a property. If we ever wanted to put a driveway, we would have to move the guardrail. And also, it looks like that guardrail may be within that 5 feet. For some reason, it's quite a ways away from the cement power pole. I don't know if it's planning on being moved. And if I could find out about the details, if that would be better addressed.
Yes, can you provide your address so we can go to the plan sheet and look at your property specifically?
Okay, so the one I live in is 98675. And then the empty lot, which I'm not even sure what the street address is, one basically south of that, or?
Okay, we can begin with the 98675.
Right, that one is just a lot. It's fine, I don't have any issue. The lot next to it is the one that has the guardrail.
Is it south of Harvard Shores Road?
I'm trying to see on this picture that you have up.
Is it the guardrail that's shown?
Yeah, see the saw cut lot?
Yes.
No, I'm not on the corner. I am.
The address points out to station 319.
98675, I believe, is over.
A previous sheet, Paulette.
Yeah.
Previous
Okay.
sheet.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there. So we have. So it's the guardrail at station 320, Shelley. That would be the most likely location.
Yeah, which is a guardrail replacement. Correct?
So that will be moved back 12 feet. Is that the?
That is the distance from the edge of pavement to the front of the guardrail.
Not right now, it isn't.
The guardrail is in that same approximate location, so there you can probably confirm.
Correct. So yes, currently the guardrail is about 4 to 5 feet from the edge of the pavement. It will be moved back to 12 feet from the edge of the roadway as it is currently shown. And to answer your question, why the guardrail is extended so far in front of the power pole that it is protecting right now is because the guardrail is preliminary there to protect the vehicles from hitting the power pole. So as the vehicles are traveling at 45 miles an hour on this particular roadway, they typically tend to go at an angle from the roadway. As they deviate from the roadway accidentally, if they get off the roadway, they will be traveling. So this guardrail is extended to intercept the vehicle traveling at that particular angle. And that is why it is extended currently this far out because of that. So as we extend the guardrail further away from the roadway, the shorter it becomes. closer to the roadway, it would be a much longer guardrail.
Okay, because right now, it basically extends the entire length of that parcel. So there's no access.
Is the existing driveway to your property the one on the right?
Yes, but that's a separate lot. It's two different lots.
Properties, okay. Okay. And the property right now, there's nothing, it's not being used?
Correct, it's wooded. But I was just wondering in the future, if I ever wanted to do something, what would I have to do?
In that case, you would need to apply for a permit to receive access through the department.
So they would change the guardrail?
Possibly, if there's no other access and you are pretty much locked in your property without a way out, yes, there would have to be some accommodations made.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Strong. Really appreciate your question. Team, we do have some questions in the question box that I'm going to go over now. Let's see, Ms. Dottie Moses has a question. She says, will there be a site plan of landscaping to be done? If so, when and where can it be seen?
So plans for 60%, including landscape plans, are available, have been prepared and are available for everyone to request. You can just make the request and we will provide those.
Yes, so let me just interject here, Shelley. Ms. Moses, the plans are usually a public records request, and you can certainly put that information in writing. You could send me an email directly, and I would be happy to forward your information to the request department, and they will send you that information as soon as possible. We also have another question from Daniel Hill, and she says, how will businesses know if their driveways will be the ones that will be narrowed?
Yes, we are currently in the process of preparing driveway modification letters that are being approved by the department to be mailed out. They will be mailed out in the few coming weeks, and we will be contacting you through that mail, and we'll be offering to meet with everyone individually to discuss the improvements so that they are informed of what's happening individually.
Okay, thank you so much, Shelley. Let's move to the other question. We have a question from Miss Susie Shimota, and her question also has to do with landscaping. She was asking about, she wanted to know if the plants will be native plants, and she says that this will help native wildlife and reduce watering demands if those are utilized. So will native plants be utilized, team?
I think this is a question for our landscape architect to respond. So I would like for this question to be put on record so that we can formally respond regarding the species.
Okay, absolutely. We can certainly send that information to or forward this request to our landscaping division and consult that team on that response. Let me move to the next question. Miss Dottie Moses had another question. She asked about the driveway to the CVS. She wanted to know if the driveway to the CVS be improved or made safer.
Sudhir, are you aware of the exact location in the plan sheet?
I'm not sure. I think CVS is almost at the end of the project. Can we have an address or a nearest side street?
Sure. Let me see if
Sudhir, CVS is at station 362. To the left.
Okay, Paulette, move to the plan sheet. Keep going forward up to station 362.
Yeah. 20.
this
Go back.
this uh-huh.
One more.
One more.
One more. Okay, just one more. The last one.
Okay.
That's the one. Okay.
That's the one. Okay.
So it's the L49, the access, I think. Oh no, L50. I'm sorry. L50 is the entrance. Yeah.
Correct. So all we are proposing at that particular location is a milling and resurfacing of the driveway. We are not currently proposing any changes to the driveway at this location.
So milling and resurfacing only, no changes.
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me move to the next question. That would be from Antonio Schuster. There have been a number of memorials, crosses, flowers, marking areas where fatal accidents have occurred. What is your policy for allowing these?
I would like to direct this question to Kira, if possible.
Kira, this is Tish. Let me answer that question if I may, because
Thank you so much.
The Public Information Office is the one that handles the memorial marker program. So during construction, when there are memorial markers on the roadway, we remove the memorial markers before construction begins in that area. We coordinate with the families for whom those memorial markers were installed to let them know that we are removing them. We place them in our maintenance office. In this case, it would probably be in the Marathon office, which is the closest FDOT office to the project corridor. And then following construction, we reinstall them and we notify the family. And that is how we handle memorial markers during construction.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tish.
Thank you, Tish.
Thank you. Okay, let's see if we have another question here from, okay, Ms. Moses has a few more questions, which I am going to group. So she's asking, in part, will parking be allowed on the new 5-foot shoulder once completed? She also wanted to find out about site plans. She wanted to know where she could find the site plans being shown. Shelley, would you like to answer that question?
Yes. So vehicles are only allowed to park on the shoulder for emergencies. It's the purpose of the shoulder and to help vehicles recover once they go off the roadway for some reason or temporary stops. They are not meant to be used as parking space. And the second question regarding the plans, the plans are a public records request and they are available upon request. We can provide, these are the 60% plans.
Correct. Thank you so much, Shelley. And let me see if we have another question here. We have one more question from, okay, we have two questions. Nicholas Rodriguez has a question. I believe that's about landscaping too as well. He wanted to know how they will be watered and if the FKAA waters the plants.
Okay, it is my understanding that we are planting, the type of plants that will be provided are the type that are strong and can survive without regular watering.
Maintenance, okay.
Correct. And again, regarding the specific type of plantings, I think the question could be directed to our landscaping architect, but the plan is not to water the plants as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, perfect. And then Commissioner Forrester did have another question. He asked if we could catalog those memorials before the project starts, so it takes the anxiety off the table from the very beginning. Now, he did ask that question 1 minute ago, and I believe that was in response to what Tish had mentioned from on behalf of the PIO office. Let me see if we have any additional questions. Again, let me remind you, if you have any questions or concerns, please go ahead and use the raise your hand button on your panel to the right, so that we may acknowledge you and address any questions or concerns that you may have at this time. You can also use the question box that quite a few of you have been using. And we really do appreciate that feedback as well as your participation tonight. Just going to give everyone just a few more minutes. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and just leave that comment or question in the question box. Or you may raise your hand. Okay, Ms. Strong does have a follow-up question. Let me go ahead and unmute you.
Yes, I was just wondering if when you will be providing a more detailed schedule, like perhaps when you'll be doing the pavement extension in that 1-year time frame.
Well, I could probably answer that question, Shelley. Yes. Normally, thank you so much for your question, Ms. Strong. Normally, the PIO office and me as the community outreach specialist, we'll be in constant contact, you know, and we'll be able to provide you with information as far as the construction schedule is concerned, should that change. And we'll also let you know what may be going on in a particular area at any given time, you know, and what activities are taking place. So on a Monday morning, I'm usually on the radio, US 1. I'm usually on the radio on US 1 radio. And I usually give an update or report on project status as well as any construction activities. Of course, there's always the project website, which I'm about ready now to show you. You will see information that's updated periodically on the project in terms of a status, any lane closures or any changes as far as construction activities.
If I may, this is Tish Berger again. Just for clarification, with what Paulette said is absolutely correct, except that is during construction. So we will not have that. That is really for the contractor to tell us when we select a contractor what their work sequence is going to be, and we will not know until that time what specific activities will be happening when. So the information on the website right now is about the design project. The information you're looking for is going to be available when this project moves to construction.
Thank you so much, Tish. Let me see. I think there's another question from Commissioner. Okay. Okay, all right. Commissioner Forrester just had a comment regarding the presentation. Thank you so much, Commissioner Forrester. Really do appreciate that. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns at this time? Again, I'm just going to remind you, please leave your questions in the question box. That's in the control panel on your right. If you have any questions or comments at all, you can also you know, download tonight's presentation. Let me just remind you that you can do that at the link that's on your screen, or you can go ahead and scan with your camera phone or device the QR code to the right-hand corner of your screen that will take you directly to the DOT website, which is fdotmonroe.com. For more information on the project, you can certainly reach out to me directly. I am the Community Outreach Specialist. You can reach out to me at 786-510-3921, or you may email me at psummers@mrgmiami.com. So I'm just checking just to see if we have any other questions at this time. It is 6:15. We are going to remain here. The team will be online until 7 o'clock tonight. As well, just to remind you that we will be here. So if any questions or comments come up or come to mind, feel free again to put them in the question box. You may also raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you. Okay, team, I'm not seeing any other questions or concerns being posed at this time. Again, just to remind you, we will be here until 7 o'clock tonight. You can download tonight's presentation just by clicking on that link that's to the bottom of your screen, as well as scan the QR code that's to the right, so you can obtain more information on the project. You're most welcome, Mr. Rodriguez. We do appreciate you attending the meeting as well. Ms. Moses has a question. Her question is it possible to add improvements to the CVS northbound driveway?
What kind of improvements to the driveway are needed? Can you expand a little bit on the request?
She doesn't have anything else. Miss Moses, oh, okay, she says, thank you so much, Miss Moses. She says the turn-in lane.
Oh, she's requesting a turning lane into the driveway?
Yes, it looks like she's asking if it's possible to add improvements to the northbound driveway turn-in lane.
Okay, you want to go to the plan sheet, Paulette?
Sure. Do you know what number that might be?
It was
99.45
Okay, here we go.
right there. So currently what is shown here is a turn lane that starts for the signal at Atlantic right here. What we are having here is there is a great difference at this driveway also, and we don't have the available right of way to make any improvements at that location. Currently, we have enough room just to accommodate the left turn lane for the left turning movements at the Atlantic intersection.
Okay, thank you so much. We have another question from Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, I think you may be self-muted. Okay, there you go. Go right ahead.
Yeah, what Mrs. Moses is referring to, when you're pulling out of the CVS driveway to head north, the line of sight south is non-existent. Like it's just a gamble pulling out.
Yes, true. Because of the right-of-way line that is currently shown and the landscaping that has been done in that area. And you can see where the driveway limit ends and there is a dashed line that is shown parallel to the roadway is the right-of-way line. And FDOT do not have the right-of-way line to provide more site distance at that location. Fortunately, the driveway is located such that it's at a curve.
That landscaping isn't part of FDOT. That's part of the CVS land or lot.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rodriguez. Do we have any other questions at this time? Let's see. Again, just let me remind you, you can go ahead and leave your questions or comments in the panel to your right. And so that we may address your concerns. While we're here, we will be here, our team will be here until 7 o'clock tonight. So feel free to, jot your comments down or your questions. You can also shoot me an email and I'll just provide my email address. It is psummers@mrgmiami.com. You can also contact me directly. My telephone number is 786-510-3921. You also have the option of going to the FDOT website, which is fdotmonroe.com. You may scan that QR code to the right-hand side of your screen, and it will take you directly to the project page where you can download tonight's presentation. Just checking to see if we have any other questions or any other concerns at this moment. Mr. Rodriguez was the last question. So team, at this point, we are going to just come off camera, but we will be available, as I said, until 7 p.m. tonight. So feel free to go ahead and leave your comment or your question in the question panel, and we'd be happy to address those questions because we will be here until 7 tonight. I'm going to leave my contact information up for those of you who need, who have plans requests or have any public records requests. Again, my information is there, my email address, psummers@mrgmiami.com, or you can contact me directly by phone, and I'll be happy to forward your request in writing to our public records department, and they'll be able to provide you with the information that you need. Again, just as a reminder, our project team will be available through 7 p.m. tonight, so don't hesitate to raise your hand or type a question or leave a comment in the question box on the side panel in your upper right-hand corner, and we'd be happy to address any questions or concerns that you may have. Okay, team, we do have a question from Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to unmute you. Mr. Rodriguez,
Hello.
please go ahead. Yes.
Hey, quick question. So I'm the chairman of the Key Largo Wastewater Treatment District. How are you guys planning on communicating with the local utilities as far as road work? I imagine you're taking our plans into consideration where we have pipes laid. Will we be
Yes,
hearing from you directly or from the county?
Yes, we have gotten in contact with all utility owners within the project limits, and we have a utility design conference planned for, I believe it's March 10th or March 11th. I have to check my calendar. Coming up next.
Okay.
March 10th.
I've got in touch with all the utilities. This is the first I'm hearing of it. Would you have contacted our general manager or our engineers?
Yeah, we have contacted through the formal process. We have received markups. You are from Key Largo Wastewater, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I would have to check my project files, but I can definitely get in contact with you at some point after the meeting, you're free to call me, and or I can call you, and we can discuss all the information that I've received until now.
Yeah,
But we
on
have
our
a
plans.
space for March 11th for the official utility design conference. I can check who the person that was invited.
Shelley, it's Mike Dempsey is the person who's listed on our plans as the contact person. Mike Dempsey.
All right, yes, he's in charge of our road work. All right, great, thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're most welcome. You're most welcome. I'm just checking again, team, to see if we have any other questions. Let's see. Mr. Rodriguez, you still have your hand up. Did you have a follow-up question to that? Okay, thank you. Let's see. I'm not seeing any other questions at this. Thank you so much. Yes, you're most welcome, Mr. Rodriguez. Any other questions or concerns? Let me just see if anyone else has any questions. I'm not seeing any additional questions at this time. Again, I'm just going to remind you that I can be reached directly at 786-510-3921, or you may contact me by email at psummers@mrgmiami.com. You can also go to the project website, which is located to the bottom of your screen. Just by clicking on the link, it will take you there directly. Or for those of you who are super tech savvy, you can scan that barcode, that QR code that's to your right-hand side of the screen, and that too will take you to the project website where you can download tonight's presentation. Team, you can turn your cameras off until we get another question. Thank you so much. May I remind you that tonight's presentation can be downloaded by scanning the QR code on your screen using your camera phone. For more information on this project, you could reach out to me directly at psummers@mrgmiami.com, or you may call me at 786-510-3921. Tonight's presentation can also be accessed through the link that's to the bottom of your screen, and all the project information along with tonight's presentation can be found there as well. Thank you. Hello again, everyone. We have about 5 minutes remaining in our virtual public meeting tonight. Please be reminded that tonight's presentation is available at the FDOT website, which is fdotmonroe.com. You can also download directly from the link that's towards the bottom of your screen, or scan the QR code to the right of your screen as well. You could certainly reach out to me directly at 786-510-3921, or you may email me at psummers@mrgmiami.com. So at this time, we've reached the end of our virtual public meeting. On behalf of the entire project team, I would like to thank you for attending tonight's virtual public meeting for the State Road 5 Overseas Highway northbound from mile marker 97.0 to mile marker 99.5, and northbound and southbound from mile marker 99.6 to mile marker 100. That is FIN number 443921-1-52-01. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.